to be launching a tasty pastry. It's a low-carb Pop-Tart. It's got 3 to 4 grams of net carbs, and we love this show. This is our best place to be in LA.
Welcome back to Legendary Foods Muscle in the Morning. I'm Dave Palumbo, and today is Monday, August 15th, 2022. And let's find out what's going on in the world of bodybuilding and fitness. Boy, I'll tell you what, the struggle is definitely real out there in Nick Walker's camp right now. Since he kicked off his Olympia prep a few weeks ago, Nick's really taken things to another level as far as his training is concerned. Because I can almost guarantee you that he's one of the only people in bodybuilding who's moving these sorts of weights on a regular basis now. Anytime we see clips like this, they're always followed by a strong contingent of Nick's supporters, and a vast majority of them see him as a legitimate threat to win the Olympia title this year. And even though there isn't necessarily a correlation between the weights he's moving in the gym and the way he places on stage, there is something to be said for training with that level of intensity day in and day out. So if he can keep plugging along at this pace, who's to say that he doesn't close the gap and prove that all of these crazy supporters out there were right all along. I don't know if you can necessarily identify the fine line that someone crosses when they go from having star potential to being an outright star, but if we took a poll right now to ask fans whether or not they thought Quinton Eriya had officially crossed into star territory, I'm guessing the answer would be yes. After bringing in his all-time best at the Tampa Pro to start the season, over the weekend at the Texas Pro, he showed again why he's widely considered to be one of the most intriguing prospects in all of bodybuilding after putting on another high-level performance. He's at the point now where he's checking almost every single box across the board, from shape to size to conditioning. And if he keeps sticking to the game plan, it's only a matter of time before we see him enter one into the win column. If you're a 212 fan, you've got to be loving these last 2 weeks, because we've seen shows in back-to-back weekends that really encapsulate what this division is all about. And here's the good news. By the time November rolls around, things inside the division might really be ready to take off now that Eduardo Correa has confirmed that he's finally ready to return to the stage. Now, if you're a newer bodybuilding fan, this might not even move the needle for you, because it's been over 3 years since the last time we saw him compete. And that's why I'm going to advise you to do your research, or maybe even, dive down deep into the YouTube rabbit hole, because there was a period of time when Eduardo was inches away from beating out Flex Lewis for the 212 Olympia title. So if he can get anywhere close to that version of himself again, the last few weeks of the season are going to get a lot more interesting. Have you ever heard the expression, if it looks like a duck, swims like a duck, and quacks like a duck, well then it's probably a duck? Because it's one of the best ways to describe Logan Franklin's situation right now. Heading into his guest posing spot at the Lee Labrada Classic 2 weeks ago, Logan made a pointed effort to say that he wasn't about to compete. But when you see the sort of conditioning that he's walking around with, it's hard not to think that he's doing a lot of quacking for someone who isn't about to do some duck business. There are a handful of guys that have an opportunity to really shake things up in classic physique this year, and Logan is one of them. So if he does end up deciding to dip his toes into the water at some point over the next few weeks, you won't be able to say that you didn't see it coming. And that does it for yet another edition of Muscle in the Morning. I'm Dave Palumbo, reminding you to always be true to your passions, and make sure to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.